Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to a very exciting event we have planned today. My name is Reza. I'll be the host for this evening's program. Welcome to MohebbanYouth. And mohebban-e-fatemeh is a youth group based in the DMV area with the goal of creating a diverse and inclusive youth community that promotes closeness to God, appreciating diversity and inclusivity, self-discipline, self-development, and community building. We're very, very excited to continue on a series that we have with the Chef series. Last time we had a baker, Sister Zioda, who taught us how to make cookies. I think it was white chocolate chip cookies. And this evening we have a very exciting chef with us, Chef Ayman Juburi with Calor Food, who's going to be teaching us through the process of making chicken Parmesan, pesto pasta, and Broccolini. We're very excited to have him. As most of you know, I think Brother Ayman, through the community, he's a very well-respected and great brother of our community who's always active in youth environments and youth activities. And we're very, very happy we can have him. Before I invite him to take over, a few rules for the structure of today's program. First and foremost, we want this to be interactive. So please, if you have a camera, please turn it on, unmute yourself when possible, and interact with the audience. I think we have enough folks that it might be tough if everyone wants to speak at once. So if you have a question, type it in the chat or just message me directly. Or just ask to be unmuted, and then just unmute yourself and ask your question. Again, we want this to be informal. We want this to be interactive. So please take the liberty, turn on your camera, and join the conversation. And let's make it fun. It's a tough situation that we're all in and have to social distance. So alhamdulillah, we're trying to make the best of it on all fronts. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Brother Ayman. If you, for some reason, have not had the pleasure of meeting him yet, Ayman has been passionate about cooking and culinary arts from a young age. He has years and years of experience in some of the greatest restaurants in Washington, D.C. area. Ayman takes inspiration from his favorite restaurants, chefs, and his own travels. Now he is the chef and owner of Calor Food, which provides halal meal preparation for any diet, catering, and personal chef services. His goal is to open and run his own halal fine dining restaurant, inshallah. Again, Brother Ayman, thank you so much for being here with us. We're so excited to have you, and it's all yours.
All right, salam alaikum everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you Mohebban and Reza for setting this up. Inshallah, everyone is having a good New Year so far and be safe. So we're just gonna get started today. And obviously, as you all know, we're making chicken parm with pesto pasta and broccolini. So if everyone can hear me, somehow indicate if you're need some time gathering things, let me know. We're gonna start off with the tomato sauce. So if you guys have that stuff, tomato, canned tomato, need some onions, garlic.
Sorry, Ayman, can you unmute one of the microphones?
Get those ready. Get a pot on the stove. And also, while we're haven't started yet, let's get the ovens preheated at 350. That way, it's ready to go. If you can gather also a pot of water for your pasta, that takes time to boil as well. So let's get that on and started.
Ayman, could you mute one of your mics?
Say again?
Could you mute one of your microphones? There you go. That's better. Thank you.
You got it.
What do you say?
He said mute one of the microphones. We got it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So turn on whatever pot you're gonna be using for the sauce. Turn on like a low temperature right now. And we'll come over this way.
Yeah.
So for this one, like I said, we're gonna need the garlic and the onion. So if you guys want to get those ready, I'm gonna show you guys a way to cut the onion. I've already prepped that myself, but just for tutorial purposes, that's what we're here for. I'll show you a couple ways to cut it, whatever you guys feel comfortable with. You can follow along or observe and start afterwards. So if you guys just cut the onion in half, and you see these ends here, you don't want to cut a lot off because you want the root to stay intact. It keeps the onion on. So cut both ends. You can see here, this is the root. It's going to hold the onion all together. Okay. So for small dice, what we're going to do is, you guys can keep your onion in half. You don't have to cut it in quarter like I did. Keep it in half. What you're going to do is you're going to come on horizontally. Okay. I would say if you have a medium size, you get 3/4 slices in. Going to come on top. Don't go all the way to the end. But this is going to determine the size of your onion dice. So you can see it's about 1/4 inch or so. And what you're going to do is going to come back down this way. So you get to the end, don't try to cut yourself, just, let it on the side. All right. Now there's another way, might be a bit easier for some folks. If you break up the onion into a couple layers at a time. Right? Kind of flatten out a bit, and then just go slices. And then from the slices, you go turn them horizontally, and then dice that way. That might be easier for some people. Okay, any questions right now? How are we doing?
We don't have any questions submitted yet. Folks, if you do have any questions, send in the chat and we'll pitch it to Brother Ayman.
Say again?
I said no questions yet. We're just hoping folks will turn on their cameras.
Okay, well, that's their discretion.
So we're back.
That's the point, yeah. Okay. So next I'm gonna show you guys a little garlic trick. To get the skin off the garlic. If you guys want to use, why don't we go ahead and use like a cup, for example. You take your clove, place it down. Now it's crushed. The skin comes off easily, and almost half the work is done for you in terms of cutting the garlic. So from there on, you can just go ahead and slice it up. Doesn't have to be too pretty. Just, it's going to be for the sauce. It'll break down as you cook it. Go ahead and do, depending on how much tomato sauce you guys have. I don't know how many people you guys are cooking for. So just keep in mind how many people you're cooking for. If you have any questions on terms of, how many cloves or how many whatever it is we're using based on how many people you're cooking for, you can just, jump in, ask a question in terms of, advice on how much of something you want to use. So I'm using 2 cloves, about half an onion, for about 28-ounce can of crushed tomato, just for you to guys gauge. So now, if you guys are ready to go, onions and garlic is cut, let me know. Let Reza know. We'll proceed. All right, I'm taking that as a let's go. Let's go.
Let's roll.
So get your pot, should be on low. If not, get on low now. Put a little bit of olive oil in. A good trick to know if your oil is hot, when it starts moving like that, real fast, like water, as opposed to cold oil, it'd be more syrupy, more slow moving.
That looks good.
Turn it up. Turn up to medium low temperature for now. If at any point you guys have a question, there's no silly questions, just jump in. We're gonna go ahead and add the garlic and onions in. If you hear that noise, that's good. If not, that means your pan's possibly cold and you should have waited.
So, Brother Ayman, we have one question here.
Yeah, jump in.
What's the benefit of using olive oil versus something like canola oil or vegetable oil?
So, olive oil is gonna have more flavor, but the other canola oil has a higher smoke point. So what that means is that you can go higher temperature in cooking and it won't burn. Olive oil has a low smoke point. And also, if you're trying to cook something where you don't want the flavor to be impacted, you don't want to use olive oil because olive oil has more flavor. Canola is known as a neutral oil. So again, canola oil is a neutral oil, has a high smoke point, but doesn't have flavor. Olive oil has some flavor, low smoke point. Yeah, those are the main factors in that.
Awesome, thank you. And could you also maybe slow down a little bit? I think we have some folks who are still cutting garlic, or not too slow, but just pause a little bit.
Okay, so we're sitting here. When you guys are ready, when you guys are onions and garlic are ready, just jump to make sure your pot's hot.
Do you mind if I ask some questions maybe
Yeah,
while they're waiting?
Ask a question.
So like, how long have you been cooking?
Personality
questions, like both.
Well, first of all, just so you guys know, I have Mehdi, owner of Mehdi Films behind the camera. He's helping me out with the camera work. You follow him on Instagram and YouTube. He's always putting out good content, relevant content of world news, self-improvement, all that kind of good stuff. Go ahead and follow my good friend Mehdi Films. So to answer his question, I've been cooking since I would say about 8, but professionally in the industry since 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
Jumped around many different restaurants, different styles. Started off this Calor food at about 2016 or so. So 4.5 years. It's kind of a good in between having a restaurant. It's a good build up to that. But in terms of this sauce right now, are you guys onions are in the pot yet? Anyone to be waiting, let me know. Let Reza know. Reza, how are we looking?
I think we can keep moving.
So let's saute you guys onions for about 2-3 minutes. Well, actually, let's say 5 minutes. Okay. You don't want to go too high. You want to make sure. Look at the onions right now. There's no color on them, so you're sweating them.
Yep.
Okay, so make sure you guys are, based on your ovens, you guys know how they work with stoves. Medium, low, I would say. Just to cook off that raw flavor.
It's a very low temp.
Right. And then once you kind of get that going, the onions are soft, garlic is soft. I'm gonna season this a bit so that the base of the sauce already has. So here we got we're gonna add some dry oregano or just any Italian spice mix. Go ahead and put about 2 pinches in there. If you're doing more tomato sauce, go maybe a little more. And you guys can just go based on what you guys like. I mean, if you guys don't like this, then you don't have to add it. It's not going to affect it too much.
So what do you have on the plate right now?
So here I got some garlic powder.
Okay.
I got some Italian dry mix here.
Okay.
Salt, kosher salt, red pepper flakes. I got a little paprika here as well.
Paprika. Okay.
These are kind of spice I'll be using for depth in all of the parts of the dish here. Okay. So go ahead at this point, if you guys onions are sweated off, add your tomato sauce, fresh tomatoes. You can leave it at temperature until it starts bubbling a bit. Then once it starts bubbling, I'll just go all the way to the lowest temperature your stove can go to, and just let it simmer throughout this process.
Mm-hmm. So right now, is it on high, low, or?
So right now I'm on a medium low temperature right now.
Medium low. And you say keep it until it stops boiling and then go to low?
I'll keep it till it starts
boiling and then go to low. Nice.
In the meantime, what we're gonna do is, if you guys have the broccolini or asparagus, whatever you guys are using, I've already prepped them up. But if you guys can cut the ends off, just like an asparagus, they'll have like a rough end. So cut about half an inch off of there, so you don't have that bitter, dry end there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add. Everyone good so far?
Let us know where you're at.
Let's pause for a second so folks can prep their broccolini or asparagus that they weren't able to get that.
Any questions? This is a good time for questions.
Yep.
I got a question.
We did have. Oh, Matthew, go ahead.
No, Reza, go ahead, please.
Reza, you go.
So we have one question submitted. It says, do you weigh out your ingredients or just kind of eyeball them?
So I am eyeballing it, but for you guys, I'm trying to give you guys an estimate on measurement, just so you have a guideline. And then obviously as you go, I like to go less. So as you go, you can add more, but it's going to be difficult to take out. So I go kind of a base measurement, and then as I go along, I taste as you go. Tasting as you go is the number one tool of the chef, is to taste as you go, because you don't want to give something blindly to a customer or even for yourself before you know what's going on. What flavor your profile you have. So I give a base flavoring, and as I go along, I taste, because also as it cooks, the flavors get intensified, the sauce reduces, the salt it gets too salty. So I go really low on the seasonings at first, and then, like I said, as I go taste, and then add as your preference. So maybe you don't want too much garlic, so you don't add too much garlic, or maybe you don't like it too salty, so you don't add too much salt. So these are all these are main ingredients, but obviously based on your preference.
And then when you're in the culinary world, right, and you say your preference, how do you determine what is the best preference, right?
Well,
so the standard of quality.
Culinary world is different than at home, right? Obviously. So in the culinary world, you can't really cater to everyone's minor detail preference, right? So you're a chef. Many chefs will just be like, okay, this is my dish. You don't like it, don't have it. Other restaurants you see nowadays, they just try to cater to everyone's needs. They try to adjust as much as possible. Mind you, many of these things are made prior. So maybe if I'm making chicken parmesan in the restaurant, I might make, some 10, 15 gallons of tomato sauce. If there's onions in there, I can't take it out, So that's the thing that people must people don't necessarily understand from the outside of looking into the restaurant. But obviously restaurants try to do their best to tend to allergies, preferences, that kind of thing, diets.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answered the question. I'm saying preference now because, we're all in our own homes right now, so you can adjust things based on, obviously, your liking.
Sister Zainab, do you have a question?
Yeah. Do we line the roasting pan with like aluminum or parchment paper?
You can. If you want to save yourself some headache with cleanup.
Okay.
If you want to save
yourself
yourself cleanup
olive oil
later,
on that?
I just like to go straight on.
Okay.
Yeah. So eventually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put olive oil. I'm gonna put olive oil on the broccolini, which will end up going on the pan anyway. So you don't have to add more. Because you don't want it to fry in the oven. You want it to kind of roast.
Got it.
If you put too much oil, it kind of almost fry. It gets almost too oily.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna end up doing, I'm gonna show you guys, is gonna be a light coating of olive oil, so it'll be more of a roast rather than a fry.
That's why putting it in later, not letting it
And
sit over time.
You don't want to sit over time either, because then it'll also soak up the oil. You don't want to get soaked up either. So if you guys look at the sauce now, at my end, it is starting to bubble a bit once you leave it. If you can look at the edges.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, the important thing is that you have to remember that canned tomatoes are kind of raw, so you want to cook that off. You don't want the raw flavor. So you want to get get it hot so that it's boiling. It's cooking nicely, cooking off that raw metallic flavor, acidity. So at this point, I'm going to cut it off all the way to low. I just let it sit, and then every few minutes just check on it. And if you guys want, you can give it a taste now, see where you're at, and then you can compare that to how the finishing product is, and you can see sort of a difference.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What are we supposed to do with the broccolini?
Okay, so have you guys cut it yet?
Yeah.
Just the tips.
Yeah, we cut it.
The ends here, just cut them off until you've got to come with the soft part of the stem. You don't want that tough end because you can't really eat that.
Okay.
So at this point, I was waiting for everyone to get to this point, and then we can continue.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Does that answer your question, brother?
Yes, thank you.
All right. All right. I'm going to address this broccoli now. So, like the sister asked earlier, we're gonna just a little bit of olive oil. It's not too much.
You shot at that. So you just drizzle it all over.
Just drizzle it, and then you can see now you can kind of mix it in. This will also help when we add the seasoning to it. Help it stick. Okay.
So you toss them all upside down. Just make sure they all got some olive oil on them. Very nice.
Once that's all mixed up, I like to go simple with this veggie. Has a nice, almost smoky, bitter flavor naturally to it. So I just like to complement it a little bit with a little salt. Just a couple pinches. Don't go too crazy on it. Pepper flakes. Now, obviously, it's a preference thing because it's spicy. Pepper flakes. If you don't want spicy, you can skip this part. So pepper flakes. And you can also mix that in also so it's kind of evenly distributed. And then I'm going to go with black pepper. If you don't have pepper mill, it's fine. You just have your pre-grounded pepper. That's perfectly fine. And then finally mix that in as also.
I'm sorry, I'm falling a little behind. Can you tell me what spices you put in the broccolini?
Yeah, so I just went simple. I just went salt, black pepper, and red pepper flakes.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'm going to also add garlic powder, and that's also if you want to exclude that, that's fine too. I'm just going lightly on it. And now at that low temperature of 350, that way by the time we're done, it should the time should be perfectly set for that to be ready, for the whole dish to be ready, complete. So once you guys are done seasoning that, and your ovens should be preheated by now, I believe. Just go ahead and put that in your oven.
Very nice.
And how long will we be putting this in the oven for?
So I will check it periodically. I'll check every at least. So initially, you can leave it in there for 10-15 minutes, no problem. After that, I'll check it, and then just if you guys want it to be cooked more, or if that's good for you guys, you can take it out and we can reheat it again later. But I think this should be fine for the majority of the rest of the time we're cooking everything else. It should be fine in the oven at that temperature.
It's 6 o'clock now, so I'll let you know when
Yeah.
I gotta watch on.
So if you guys also make sure you guys have that pot of water going.
Do we add salt to the pot of water?
Yeah, I would. You add salt. So that's a good question. You add salt when it's boiling.
Okay.
So there's actually like a chemical reaction there. If it's not boiling, then it doesn't necessarily mix into the water effectively if it's not boiling yet. So I'm gonna switch my pots. Actually, I'm gonna put the sauce in the back, since that's gonna be literally on the back burner. No pun intended.
All right, you're on mute. Just let
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Okay.
We're having a little private discussion.
Little secret conversation. Now, actually, Ayman, I want to ask you, where can people get this merch? I'm going to show the hat right now.
Yeah,
This is
so
a
I
very
got
clean
some
logo.
I got some merch going, but
I like that.
inshallah, maybe our next session we'll organize the next session. We'll have maybe a raffle or some sort of quiz or something. Or you can have just some merch for purchase.
Nice. So you can win some swag.
Yeah, inshallah next time.
Inshallah.
So let's move on to the chicken. Well, we have the sauces on the back burner. The water's going to a boil. The broccolini's in the oven. Let's move to the chicken now.
Let's go.
Everyone in a good spot right now?
Can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
Is the asparagus cooking, like I used asparagus instead of broccolini.
That's fine.
Is the cooking time different?
Can you show me the thickness of it by chance?
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll honestly at maybe 10-15 minutes that should be good. So just
Okay.
give it a check in 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And you can probably most likely pull that out.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. So depending on you guys' size of the chicken breast, not all chickens are created equal, unfortunately. Mine are about this size. I got some organic, antibiotic free, so they're kind of small.
I'm gonna put your hand next to it for reference.
I mean, my hands are small, but here, not too big, not too thick. But in order to kind of make sure these cook fast, I'm gonna split them in half. Okay. Does anyone have like super big chicken breasts?
Mine are normal sized, but they're still a little frozen. Just a
Are
tiny
they?
bit. Like they're almost thawed, but they're
Okay, that might actually help you in terms of cutting it because it'll be more solid.
okay.
Just be careful when you're cutting. Don't cut yourself. If it's super hard, I wouldn't mess with it because you might.
No, it's
try to
like
force-
pretty much ready. It's just
Okay.
a little bit frozen.
Okay, then maybe after you cut it, you can probably maybe rinse it under some water just for a few minutes just to finish the thawing.
Okay.
But then after that, try to dry off as much water as possible.
Okay.
So just now, were you cutting off extra fat on the
Yeah,
chicken?
so I mean, I want to keep it kind of uniform. That way, it doesn't the edges or whatever is hanging off doesn't cook faster than the rest. So if you have anything like this, maybe just kind of trim that. Honestly, this piece is already kind of thin. I'll leave that. But something like this piece is a bit thicker. This is actually, you guys, fun fact, this is actually the tenderloin. This is where chicken tenders come from.
Wow.
Right behind the chicken breast is called a tenderloin. On a cow, it's a filet mignon.
Mm. You're just cleaning it up, taking off the extra fat.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Okay. There's also sometimes fatter on this side. This is where the wing would come off of on a chicken breast.
And is there a reason why you use this piece of meat?
Well, I mean, this is typical chicken parmesan. This is just chicken breast.
Okay.
So what you do is obviously you can tell this is thinner. The tip is thinner, and then it gets thicker at the top near the head of the chicken. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knife and go on this end and try to see kind of where the middle of the breast is. Just be very careful, guys, when you're doing this, and just gently slice and see where you're at as you cut. Make sure you're not cutting all the way through. Try to keep your knife as flat as possible. And we're basically just butterflying chicken breast. And then as you open it, you can just use your tip of your knife and finish off. So you have a thinner piece, it's gonna cook much faster. much more even. And we need
Are you leaving it connected in the middle, or are you cutting it?
Yeah, so it's connected. That way you have one nice, almost round piece, sort of. If you cut all the way through, no biggie. You can just have now two pieces.
And now, while folks are doing that, I want to ask you a question about your knife.
Okay.
What type of knife are you using, and why are you using this knife as opposed to another knife?
Okay, well, the actual, in terms of the metal and stuff, I'm not really good at, but this is a chef knife. In terms of style of knife, it's actually from Japan. The metal is a good quality metal. I'm just not learned in all the metals and stuff in terms of.
Well, I mean, I know a few types of knives, right? Chef knife, paring knife, right? Bread knife. Why this, this big knife? Why not something smaller?
So chef knives are kind of the go-to reliable, hard-working knife for a chef. Go-to, they need to do chef knife. Boom, chopping, slicing, doing a little butchering here. But each knife does have a purpose. Make sure you guys check on your sauce and your vegetable in the oven. So every knife has a purpose, and every job has a specific knife to it. So paring knife, like you mentioned, is good for small projects. You're cutting a small fruit or small vegetable, or even peeling those things. A bread knife, obviously, or a slicer, you slicing bread, or even you can be slicing a piece of chicken, for example. There's something called a utility knife. Utility knife is kind of in between of a chef knife. Just stay here for a second. Here's a slicer, for example. You can have a longer blade, thinner also. So this is meant for something you want to do. You want to do long strides with it. You don't want to break your slice. So this is what sushi chefs would use, for example. Or if I was to butcher, turkey Thanksgiving, I want to slice the chicken breast nicely. This is good because you have a long long range of motion. This is a paring knife. This is a utility knife. What I mentioned, kind of in between a chef knife and a slicer almost. In between a paring knife and a chef knife. That way you can do the kind of in between projects. And a paring knife is just many of you guys have it with the fruits, cutting fruits on the dinner table at the dining room. So go ahead and give your sauces a taste now. See what they are, and let me know what you think.
About 10 minutes.
Okay, give a check on your broccolini or asparagus. This is where I'm at. It's starting to sizzle.
Beautiful.
Still raw, still hard, so I'm gonna leave it in there. Any questions?
I think folks are still a few steps behind. Not a few steps, just making sure they're getting everything done properly.
Okay.
If you like, I can ask a question.
Ask a question.
So I'm just curious, what kind of cuisine is your favorite to make? Like, what if it just comes down to what's most enjoyable for you to eat and make? What does it come down to?
I'd say what we're doing right now. I would say Italian food.
Italian food?
Yeah, I just love the variety of pasta, the variety of sauces and flavors there. But I also very much enjoy, grilling and steak too. It's also a go-to.
So number one, Italian food, and then second, just grilling.
Yeah,
be on the grill.
In general.
That's what's up.
Okay. Any questions?
We do have one question from a brother. It says, do we have to flip the vegetables at any point, or we just leave it as is?
You don't have to. No, you don't have to.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is there like a specific way the sauce is supposed to taste? Like, how is it supposed to taste?
No specific way, but I mean, it's supposed to be tomatoey. It's supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be able to taste the garlic and the onion, that we added in.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too. The main thing is also the consistency. You don't want it to be too thin. So when we're cooking it, it's kind of reducing, so it's getting thicker. You don't want it to be too watery. That's also one of the points of cooking it off. Also.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question. I'm sorry
Yes.
for all the questions. I don't know when asparagus is done. I always overcook it. So
Okay.
how do I know that it's
Well, why don't you show me right now, and I can kind of guide. I mean, so you basically you don't want to be too firm. Yeah, I would say still needs time. Like you can still snap it, right? If you were to pull.
It's just really hot, but I can.
Yeah, I would say it's still raw. You can see the inside's kind of also white.
Yeah.
Um,
So
when it's cooked, it's a bit softer. There should be some color to it too, as in showing that it's been roasted.
Okay.
And when you bite it, it doesn't necessarily snap when you bite it.
Got it.
Okay. The only way you can overcook it is if you leave it for a long time, it gets shriveled up and it's almost non-existent. But so that's a long ways away.
All right, I think we can move on to the next step.
Okay. So let's go ahead and we're gonna start the pesto. For the spaghetti we're gonna be making. So this is what you're gonna need to gather: your parsley, your basil, more garlic, red pepper flakes if you choose, salt and black pepper, and olive oil. Let me know when you guys' water starts boiling. We can address that. Also, Parmesan and pine nuts for the pesto. This is gonna be like a basic and lemon juice. If you guys have lemons or lemon juice, if you have just whole lemons, then cut those up and squeeze the juice out of those.
So everything here, this is Parmesan.
Yeah. So I have Parmesan here. We're not using this.
No paprika. No garlic.
Salt, pepper, both black pepper and red pepper, pine nuts, lemon juice.
Are there any substitutes here that someone could use besides the ingredients that you have on the table?
I mean, you could use a variety of. No, I mean this is a pretty simple recipe, so I mean not much you can really substitute.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably take things out if you don't want, like I said before. But the main things are the greens, garlic, pine nuts, and olive oil. Those are kind of the minimum, and Parmesan cheese. So I already have in my blender. I got my parsley, my basil. I got black pepper in there, and I got the garlic. And what we're gonna do is it's gonna get kind of loud. So I'm gonna add a bit of the Parmesan.
Can you repeat exactly what you put in the blender?
So actually, you're gonna add everything into the blender except your liquids.
So that is.
So olive oil and lemon juice stay out. Put about 3 tablespoons of pine nuts in there. Put about 2 cloves of garlic, depending how much parsley and basil you're using. If you just compare to what I have. I have a cup total, maybe a cup of have a half a cup of basil, have a cup of parsley in there. So if you have more, then add a bit more of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm not gonna go heavy on the salt in the beginning, just so that I can taste. So I don't over season. I'm gonna put pepper flakes in mine. I'll put 2 pinches in mine. I'm gonna add maybe an ounce or so of Parmesan.
And if anyone is still tracking what we're doing, all the steps are written in the chat. So, just take a look there and you can track it.
And then I'm gonna add let's say 2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
All right, I'm gonna mute it whenever it's on.
Okay, so what's gonna happen here is I'm gonna blend it. I'm gonna slowly add in the olive oil. This process is called emulsifying. That way, it gets properly incorporated. If you just dump in the oil all at once, it won't fully mix in nicely. This way, it blends in efficiently, becomes one complete sauce as opposed to a broken sauce. So what I'm gonna do now is probably start off with your lowest level of blending, and then if you feel like you need to add more power, then add power. But let's get started.
All right, I'm gonna mute it.
So we see Brother Ayman slowly adding olive oil, and then the blender is not on entirely. He's kind of pulsating it. And then once it breaks down a little bit, now he started to go into full gear.
I forgot to tell you guys to add the pine nuts. Go ahead and add the pine nuts as well. Sorry. This is gonna add a bit of creaminess and honestly a little nuttiness as well.
Let's go look on the inside. It's two on top. So let's make like a nice paste.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so what does the consistency look like? And you're still on mute.
Mine's a bit watery actually, so I'm gonna add more parsley to it. You want it to be like
Like a little thicker than this.
Yeah, you want it to be thicker, almost like a little thinner than a paste. But
So like I guess a good notice if it is too liquidy, just add more.
you can add more basil
green,
or add
more
more
basils.
parsley.
And again, folks, while you're blending this, if you have any other questions, please write in the chat, and we'll pitch it to Chef Ayman.
Is that good enough, or do you want it to be a little thicker, Ayman?
I'll say a little thicker. I think one more time, and it'll be good to go.
So how much are you adding? Just maybe for the people to get a reference. Maybe just see you cut that.
I maybe added like maybe half a cup more.
Okay.
So like total a cup of parsley and half a cup of basil is what I end up with. I'll stay on the
It's beautiful.
So you can see that nice bright green.
Let's bring it a little bit closer to light. Yeah, there you go.
It is thin, but it's not too thin. So this is good.
It's not like too watery. It's just like.
All right. Everyone good? How we looking? Give it a taste. Really good. Not gonna lie, it's good.
That's what's up.
So this is gonna be kind of a finishing step there.
Okay.
Pick on your veggies, guys.
All right, now we're gonna go to the veggies.
You can see it's kind of getting
Is the
darker.
broccolini supposed to be chewy, or is it supposed to like snap off when you bite it?
Well, it's not gonna be. It's gonna have some texture. It is gonna be a bit chewy, but a bit fibrous. But it shouldn't
Okay.
be like you're chewing gum. No, it should not. If you can look, see, there's some roasted color there. That's a good sign. And if you push it, it's a bit soft. Like it's giving up a bit to if you force it.
And you said earlier, right, with preference, you can put it in longer if you want it more
Like
crispy.
this is slightly underdone. I would give it another maybe 3-4 minutes for me in my end. But if you guys just check there's some thicker pieces that might take longer time. Check your guys' end. If you push it, does it give? Or is it still firm? If it's still firm, you have a ways to go. All right. Are you guys water boiling yet?
Let Chef Ayman know, everybody.
Not yet.
Okay. So let's start with the chicken breading station.
All right.
So here I already set up mine. This is a typical what we call breading or battering station. So we got a dry element, a wet element, and a dry element. So what I did here is I got flour, salt, pepper for our first dry element. Then I got egg wash or just eggs, just whole eggs just whisked together. I added a splash of water just so that it's not too thick. You don't want that. You don't want it to be eggy when you're cooking it. You want the batter to just stick on to the chicken. Then here I have Italian breadcrumbs. I added Italian breadcrumbs already come seasoned with herbs, but I added more herbs, salt, pepper, and paprika and garlic powder. And you guys can even taste this as it is now and see do you like it or do you want to need more flavoring as it is now. And then so get those measured out. I mean, depending on how much chicken you have. I mean, I have about a cup of flour, about a cup of breadcrumbs, and I have 2 eggs whisked. So if you have more chicken.
You said 2 eggs?
I have 2 eggs mixed.
Okay.
This is what 2 eggs looks like.
2 eggs and a little bit of water, right?
And then one of the main important factors in cooking is you season every element of what you're cooking. So if the flour is seasoned nicely, the breadcrumbs seasoned nicely, the eggs are seasoned a bit, and the chicken seasoned, then there's no way you can have bland products. It's impossible. So that's a good tip. I'm gonna get my pan to start getting hot at medium heat. So that way, get your pans on medium heat. Once you guys ready with the flour and the egg and the breadcrumbs, the pan should be ready to go.
Okay. Anything on the pan yet or no?
Pan, just leave it dry for now.
All right.
And if you guys' sauce is boiling too hard or anything, just you can shut it off and let it sit, and then we can.
This is off, right?
Yeah, mine is off right now.
Okay.
But still, some residual heat is still there. So.
And as you said, it's simmered down a lot. It's just like really thick and chunky.
Exactly. You don't want it too thick, but you don't want it to be watery. And you still have a tomato taste. It's still tomato. It's tomato sauce. Okay. So when we're frying, all right, I got a quiz for you guys. A little pop quiz. Based on a question earlier about the oils, canola oil or neutral oil versus olive oil, what do you think we'll be using for frying up the chicken? If the pan's going to be hot, it's going to be in the pan for some time. Because what oil do you think we're using? Olive oil or canola oil?
Canola.
One person said canola.
Okay. Any other responses? Let's see if I'm a good teacher or not.
You guys better know. He gave you the keys early on.
Anyone? Don't be shy.
You also
Canola.
made a point about the consistency and the smokiness of the oil too, so that's one thing people want to take into consideration.
The smokiness. Well, yeah, smokiness. That's the big point. That's the big question. The consistency is just once it's hot, olive oil. Once it gets hot, it becomes thin.
Mhm.
That doesn't matter about which kind of oil it is. But the key point is the smoke point. The smoke point.
So we got 21 people in here. Only one person can answer. Come on.
I got two people answering.
Two people. We get one more.
If you're too shy, put it in the comments.
Canola oil.
All right. I think we got the right answer. So I got some sort of teaching ability here. All right.
Let's get
Okay.
it.
So pan should be putting some heat out.
So it's canola oil because you want it to.
So canola oil, we're using canola oil because, or even avocado oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, all of those have a higher smoke point than olive oil. And we're frying, so frying is gonna be a long duration in the oil, so that's what we're using. So I'm putting just enough to cover the pan entirely. Okay. And make sure your chicken is near your breading station, so you're not, kind of running around. Put a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt in your egg as well as along with your flour and breadcrumbs. If you want, you can. I don't know if you want to go from this angle.
I think I want to get you battering it up. So I'm going to get it from here first a little bit, so we can just see how you.
Okay, guys, are we ready to start breading?
I am.
Okay, we got one ready. And also, guys, if you have another sheet tray, same kind of thing you use for the vegetables, have that ready too. So once the chicken's ready, you go straight onto that. We got, of course, chicken. We've got our flour seasoned. We got our egg wash seasoned. We got our breadcrumbs seasoned. We got our pan hot with that nice neutral oil, whatever you guys choose or have, ready to go. Okay.
You got the stick here just so you can
what-
easily transition the meat on the pan, so it's really nice and efficient.
Yeah, and then the pan. My kitchen's kind of shaped weird, but try to be as linear as possible.
What did you season the flour with?
Just salt, pepper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just salt, pepper.
Is there anything you can't put in there? Like if you wanted to put paprika, would you put that?
You could put paprika, but I put most of that in the breadcrumbs.
The breadcrumbs, okay.
So that's the kind of the finishing stage there. All right.
How's everyone looking? Is everyone ready to start the breading process or no? Let us know. Is there a reason why you put most of the the colorful seasoning in the last one, just so it can is it more likely to stick on the meat when you start cooking it?
It's not the reason, but that's what you're gonna be eating. You're gonna be tasting the breadcrumbs.
Okay.
The egg and the flour are mostly a tool.
Okay.
A tool to keep everything stuck. But this is what you're gonna be eating the breadcrumbs. This is the main aspect of the crunch. So we're gonna get started with the breading process. So take your chicken breast. Also, you want a hand for the dry, and the hand for when you're wet. That way you don't have clumpy, bready fingers. So my left hand is gonna stay with the dry ingredients. Make sure you get the most coverage as possible. That way, you get the maximum breadcrumb coverage at the end. Okay, so you can see there's little to no pink exposed. Okay, and now I'm gonna switch hands, going to the egg. All right. And then get as much drip off, because you don't want to actually have egg. You don't want to taste egg in your mouth. You're just getting this to thinly coat the chicken so that you can the breadcrumbs will stick to the chicken. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other hand and get the breadcrumbs around. This is the dry hand now. Flip it. Push it a little bit so the breadcrumbs stick. Push, push, push. You don't want any wet exposed meat because that's not going to be you're going to be lacking the flavor of the breadcrumbs, and you're going to be not getting the crispiness, and it might burn as opposed to cook nicely with the breadcrumbs with the rest of the chicken. So once that's done, you're confident that you got most coverage into the pan. This is important, away from you. That way no oil splashes on you. All right, and you see immediately it starts sizzling. That's a good sign. It means your pan's hot. It's cooking. It won't get soggy. You're gonna get a good crust. Okay. Turn it up just ever so slightly, so it's a medium, a little bit past medium towards high. All right. And then take this time to check your water, check your sauce, check your vegetables. I'm probably gonna pull my broccolini out now. On my end.
Anyone have any questions for the chef? Let us know.
So don't touch the chicken once you put it in. Just let it go. Here's my broccolini, guys. It's good. You can see it shrunk a bit because of the moisture, but it's good. Smokiness, you can smell it. There's a hint of smokiness. It's kind of a cross between asparagus and broccoli there.
Beautiful.
And then I would finish it personally. I put some Parmesan on it, and right before I serve it, I'll put some lemon juice. Keep your oven on because we're gonna end up putting the chicken in there too to melt the cheese at the end.
Excuse me, can you say the sequence of the chicken one more time? Like, which do we put in the flour first, or?
Yeah, flour first, egg mix, and then breadcrumbs.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Keep it on your chicken. Flip the chicken. Look at it. That's exactly what you want. Golden brown. We call it GBD. Golden brown and delicious.
Golden. That is beautiful.
All right.
And how long do you think it was? Like 2 minutes?
That was about 2 minutes, especially with when you cut it thin. That's why we cut it thin. That way, the skin, the crust is cooked and it's not gonna get it won't be raw in the middle once we flip it. We're also gonna finish in the oven too, so that will ensure that it's fully cooked. Okay. So another 2 or 3 minutes on this side. Then make sure you have your tray ready. And at this point, you should probably turn off your sauce. We're gonna have the sauce is gonna be needed for the next part, as well as your mozzarella cheese. Get that ready as well. But you guys probably have more chicken to fry. I'm gonna go just one piece for now. That way I can help out with questions, or I can demonstrate more pieces if need be.
Yeah, could you demonstrate one more piece? I think folks are cooking for a lot of people, so they need more time.
Let's do that. But don't forget about your other elements as you're breading. Make sure you keep an eye out if you have family around. That's a good help. So again, left hand, dry hand, flour. Just be patient with it, Shake off any excess into the egg. Switch hands. Make sure you're washing your hands too after this because you have raw chicken, raw eggs. You don't want to cross-contaminate. Eggs and chicken have salmonella possibly into the breadcrumbs. I missed a little spot there, but we'll be all right. Flip. If you find that you're running out of breadcrumbs, you can always add more. All right, I'm pulling my chicken out now. See that?
Beautiful.
I'm putting on the tray. Again, laying the chicken away from me. That way no oil splashes on me. Keeps me safe. Make sure press it down, gets even surface area. All right.
Are you adding more oil, or are you using the same oil?
So this will be the oil I added initially could be good for 1 or 2 times, and after that I'll probably add a bit more just to compensate for the oil lost.
So 2 chickens per oil
about,
switch? Okay.
Yeah, but it varies. The kitchen is always varies in terms of what's going on. Maybe you guys have pans a bit harder than mine. So just judge that. If you have questions about if you need more oil, let me know. Just basically you want enough to cover the pan. You don't want to you don't want to deep fry. I'm gonna go ahead and add my pasta now. If you guys are water boiling, add your pasta into the water. Add salt first, like we touched on in the beginning. Where's my salt? You actually want your pasta water to taste like salt water, like ocean water.
Wow.
So you can add a lot because it doesn't all absorb to the pasta. So once that's in, my stove is acting a bit whack right now. I'm putting a half a box for now. Don't forget your chicken. I'm gonna add more oil to mine. How are we looking on frying chicken, guys? We have a lot more, few more. How's that going? You guys get good golden brown on it? Those who have cameras, show me. Those who have cameras, show me your chicken. Judgment time.
I have not cooked my chicken yet.
What's going on?
I just finished breading it. I just bread a bunch of chicken.
You don't gotta bread them all ahead of time. You can go one by one if you want. You said
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's not a problem. But also it'll get soggy over time if you leave it breaded.
Oh.
I probably should mention that, but it's not too big of a deal. But just heads up.
Noted for next time.
So these are things. These are mine. Hold on. Okay. Got my pasta working. Tomato sauce in the back. Is everyone's broccolini out of the oven? Let's see what's going on. Reza, you're not cooking, man? What's going on?
I'm watching. I'm appreciating the skills.
Oh man.
I'll be watching the recording and cooking it myself after. How does that sound?
All right. Yeah, you gotta show us later.
Sounds good.
We got a lot of shy people, no cameras. Maybe next time. So once you put the pasta in the water, that's about 7 minutes or so. Okay, to get al dente, which is by the tooth in Italian, like it just has a bite. So I'm going with some more. Any questions? Go ahead and ask.
Can you explain a little bit more about the concept of al dente? You said it has a little bit of a bite to it.
Yeah, so al dente means to the tooth, I think, in Italian, basically. So it's like when you chew it, when you bite into it, it's not soft and soggy and overcooked. It has a bit of a chew to it, which is good because texture. That's how a true Italian would see it correctly be done. But some people just like it a little bit cooked more softer, which is perfectly fine. But 7 minutes is a good time frame to check it.
What's your favorite type of pasta? Your go-to type of pasta for Italian food?
I like this very much, chicken parmesan or chicken alfredo, very much.
So spaghetti or fettuccine?
Oh, you mean shape? You mean shape?
Yes, the type of pasta. Yes.
Yeah, I like spaghetti a lot, or linguine, the more like the stringy pastas.
Is there an advantage for one style of pasta, the shape of pasta, over another, or is that very
This is where I don't cross the line. So in the Italian culture, there is certain pastas for certain dishes. I don't know them all, but if a grandma in Italy might slap you if you do something wrong. So in terms of this is correct in terms of spaghetti. But for example, obviously baked ziti is ziti. Penne pasta, things depends on. It's all varies on the area of the country. They have different kinds of styles and different pastas and shapes. For example, I'm surprised when I asked this question. Why is it called chicken parmesan if we're using mozzarella cheese, for example?
Mm.
The reason is because this dish is originally from, so I've heard, a city, Parma, called Parma. So chicken parmesan is from Parma.
So not Parmesan cheese, Parma, the city.
Exactly. Well, that's where that's Parmesan cheese comes from too. So Parmesan cheese comes from Parma as well. So
wow,
that's the correlation there.
The more you know.
That's really cool. I did not know that. We have a question. The question is, can the chicken be cooked in the air fryer?
That's the trend now, right? Technically, yeah. I haven't tried it with this, but I feel like the integrity is you should pan fry it.
And what's the difference for you? Like what? Why?
You want that oil. You kind of want that. I don't know. I mean, like you want that oil crunchiness. Air fry might not get the most crunchiness in it because it is a thick piece of chicken. So because it's thicker, it might not get as crunchy. Also, you're gonna end up putting it in the oven. We're gonna end up putting it in the oven, and once you guys finish frying up with the sauce and the cheese. Hypothetically, you could. If you do, let me know how it goes. I personally like the old school way. I use air fryers if I'm in a jam, if I'm in a rush, I want something quick. But if I have time, I like to cook it with some respect,
Mm. And how long has this been on? The noodles?
My stove for some reason is boiling nicely, but it's been about 5 minutes. It's going some time. It's still. Also, if you look inside, it's almost there. You can't see it, but you can see there's a white inside. It's still white bit, which means it's still raw. And you bite it, it still has a real bite to it, so it's not cooked yet. I don't recommend you guys throwing your pastas on the walls and stuff like some people do. Okay, guys, how are we looking on the chicken frying?
I think we're good. I think if folks want to continue making chicken later and adding extra chicken, they can do that. But I think we can move on to putting it all together.
So this is when we can kind of get the finishing touches.
That smells good.
We don't have smell-o-vision yet, but I got Maggie over here narrating a bit.
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know. Smells delicious.
So this is the fun part. So you guys grab your mozzarella cheese, whether you got shredded or sliced. And even you can grab the rest of the Parmesan as well. We can add that. Don't finish it, but you can add some to this part as well. So once your chicken is on the sheet tray, what you're gonna do is you grab your tomato sauce. Everyone happy with the tomato sauce? Have they tried it? What's your guys' thoughts about it? Did you guys add red pepper flakes? Did you add more salt? How do we do?
Son, how's yours looking?
Jeez, we have a real timid crowd.
Oh no, we have Ahsan's showing his. Wait, let us see it. Oh, that looks good.
That's good.
Wow.
Wait, what is it? I don't. That's mine.
He's looking at his.
Oh, okay.
Top right.
Let me see your sauce again, brother.
And you're on mute. We can't hear you, but it looks good.
That's good. That's good. It's better than mine. All right. All right. Here. If everyone's ready, we're gonna take some of the sauce. And we're gonna put it on top of the chicken. You don't want to fully cover it. You want a little bit of the edges to be exposed. All right. Hold for me. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the slice of cheese. The best part. On top. Boom. Continue that with the rest. Once that's completed, you can go in the oven. I would say 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum. Once that cheese gets bubbly and melted, then you know you're good to go. So you can leave it at the same temperature. If you want, even add some parm on top too. And if you want to make it pretty, you can add the dried oregano or dried Italian herbs, whatever you have. And then that's going into the oven. Let's say 5 minutes. And we'll give it a check. Check your pasta now. Actually, I'm actually gonna take some of the pasta water and add it to my sauce. It got a little thick.
So what's the benefit of using pasta water versus?
Yes, this is an
tap
old school
water?
trick. So it's good. You get the flavor of the pasta. There's a little starchiness, and also it's not just straight water. So it doesn't necessarily bland out your sauce. And the starch also allows it to keep thick too. The starch keeps the integrity of the sauce. So almost all pasta dishes at the end, they put a little pasta water to thicken up the sauce and to help it blend well with the pasta. So I'm gonna drain my pasta out, I think. Let's check it. Check you guys' pasta, guys. Yeah, mine's good to go. Don't show my sink. My sink's dirty. All right, guys. This is gonna be time for your pesto. So get your pesto ready as well. If you want, you can put that pesto in a bowl or some sort of vessel. Pasta draining. Your veggies are, if your veggies are a bit cold, you can throw them in the oven for a couple minutes as the chicken is getting ready. That way everything is warm. Nothing worse than cold food. Yeah, I'll give my chicken a bit, like 2 more minutes. How are you guys looking on your chicken? Is cheese melting?
Zainab, how's the chicken looking?
Good.
I think you're still on mute.
Are any in the oven yet?
What?
Are any in the oven yet for you?
No. I just finished frying 3 of them. So.
Okay.
Should I just keep going, or should I put them in the oven? Should I put them all at the same time in the oven, or?
How much do you have left?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces.
Oh wow. Okay. If why don't you go ahead and put a first batch in the oven?
Okay.
If you want, if that didn't affect your whole family vibe and stuff.
By the way, I only had shredded cheese. I didn't have the slices. Is that fine?
That's fine. Just put the sauce first on the chicken and then the cheese,
Mm-hmm.
And then into the oven.
Okay. Yeah, it turned out like this. I don't know.
Let me see
Is that
your.
fine?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Well, look, wait. Let me see your spoon again. I'm sorry, it's like. Yeah, looks good. Is the cheese melted nicely, or is it still a bit?
It hasn't really fully melted yet, but
If if you want to make more cheesy, you can throw in the oven for a bit longer.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you like.
I think it looked like Ehsan's cooking, what, 6 or 7? Zainab, you said, what, 8 or 9? How many are you cooking total?
Like 9.
Oh, wow. Hedia, how many are you cooking?
Just making 2, but I like started hella late, so I'm like not gonna fry them right now.
You're not gonna fry them now?
Look, man, I haven't done the red sauce and stuff yet.
Oh my lord.
I will. I'm just like doing the pesto now. The chicken is breaded.
Do we need
I'll
you?
do the rest of it.
Should I walk you through the tomato sauce?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. You have your ingredients. You have garlic, onions, the spices.
Yeah.
Okay, so just chop up your garlic, your onions like small dice.
Okay.
And then you can just roughly chop your garlic. I would say like 2 cloves. How much tomato? How much tomato are you using?
Like a 16-ounce can.
Okay. Yeah, I would go like 1 clove and see how it tastes.
Okay.
Just so it's not overpowering. Yeah. So then just saute the garlic and onions first. Get them like warm and soft, and then add your seasoning, salt, pepper. If you want red pepper flakes, you want to be spicy, you can add that. And then add your tomato sauce. Once that starts like boiling and cooking, bubbling a bit, you can turn it on low and then let that go for 10-15 minutes, and then you should be good.
All right.
Yeah. Simple as that. Simple as that. That's a homemade tomato sauce you guys have now in your artillery. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my pesto to my pasta and get this plating situation started. Yeah, mine is good to go. So I'm mixing the pasta on the side with the pesto. See that nice green color. All right. Also add a little bit of cheese too. A lot of Parmesan cheese doesn't hurt nobody. All right, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of twirl my pasta like this. All right. And then pick your prettiest one. And then last but not least, And then, like I said before, at the end I like to add a little lemon juice to the broccolini. And then that's it, folks. You guys did it. Let's see you guys' plates when you guys get there.
Wow, mashallah, this looks really, really, really good. I wish I was cooking. I hope someone is cooking, gonna bring me some. Even maybe I come to your house and I.
You just come to me, I'll just throw out the window for you. All right, guys. Any other questions? I'll take some random cooking questions you guys have on your mind, unrelated to this dish particularly. Why not? Extra bonus coverage.
Bonus coverage. But while as people are wrapping up, and I know we don't want to take too much of your time too. First, I wanted to thank you so much for your time now, and taking us through this demonstration.
Of course.
And to all the brothers and sisters on the line now, I highly encourage you to follow Brother Ayman at Calor Food on Instagram, and I'm sure you have his other social media, Chef Calor on TikTok. If you're on TikTok,
yeah, I just made a TikTok, guys. I'm making some. I caved, guys. I'm sorry.
His TikToks are good too. I highly recommend everyone join. Brother Ayman, can you tell us about some of the services you may have? I don't know, if you're catering, meal prep.
So, I do meal prep for those who just need some help cooking for day-to-day life, or if they're trying to get some sort of fitness or diet improvements in their life. I also do catering for small gatherings, or even just for your family. And I do personal chef service as well. If you want to hire me to come to your house and actually cook in your house for an event or what have you, if you want something a bit special, that's also available. You have my Instagram that Reza and Nestle mentioned, and inshallah I have a website working on, and I have an email as well if you want to contact me then. What's
your email?
chef@calorfood.com.
Awesome. I put these in the chat so people can see.
Perfect.
Right. Oh, Brother Ehsan is showing his. Oh wow, that looks good.
If you guys have Instagrams, oh wow, looks like mine, man. That's very good. Very good. Very good. If you guys have social media or Instagram, you can post and tag me. That'd be awesome.
Yes, if you do have Instagram, please tag myself, Mohebban and MohebbanYouth and at Calor Food, so we can reshare your meals on the Instagram and the Facebook and whatnot. So please be sure to tag us. Again, we don't want to take too much of your time. I know folks have other activities and they want to sit down and actually eat it. Chef Ayman, thank you again so much for leading us through this process. If there's any questions that anybody else wants to ask, if not, I think we can conclude.
Thank you very much, folks. Inshallah, we can do this again with another meal. Maybe Rizal will have some polls or something and suggestions of what people want to learn. And everyone else be safe and enjoy the food, and let me know how it is, inshallah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for the lesson.
Thank you. Take care. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Chef Ayman. Inshallah, we will talk to you soon. And thank you, and inshallah next time.
Thank you, Reza, for saying this up. I appreciate it, brother.
All right. Of course, Habibi. All right. Thank you all for attending. Inshallah, we'll see you soon. Please, if you haven't already followed at MohebbanYouth, follow Calor Food on Instagram and social media, and we can be connected for future events, inshallah.
Inshallah. All right. Salam, everyone. Take care.
Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.